Greetings, my friends. I've talked about Australia a lot lately. I've traveled the globe. I've been to the vast majority of the world. And in my travels, I've never found any country that I've visited that I love as much and people that I love as much as Australia and Australians. That includes Norfolk Island as well. Been there a few times in Australia. Just absolutely love it. Didn't know until recently about what was going on with Australia and the Jews. But I'm going to cover the entire thing. I'm going to let you know about Australia's past with Israel and her present with Israel and why I believe, again, this is God's judgment and what's going on. You see in the thumbnail, these spiders are falling out of the sky. I'm going to cover that in the text of the video as well. Video title, Like Egypt, Australia is slammed with hail, pestilence, and darkness and plagues. This time, though, this all happened within 1 week. In the midst of raging wildfires, hailstones the size of baseballs pounded Australia in the mix of elemental opposites echoing the Egyptian plagues. Also, in place of locusts, she is being hit with a severe plague of poisonous spiders. As if that reminder of the Exodus were not enough, a massive dust storm turned day into night. These and other phenomena created a pre-Messiah show of wonders in the hard-hit continent down under, conspicuously timed to coincide with the week when Jews around the world read the section of the Torah relating to the story of the plagues of Egypt. And Australia is also being pummeled with severe flooding because the ground is so dry from the fire. The floods are happening and the animals are dying in record numbers. In Egypt, the Pharaoh and the Egyptian people were persecuting God's chosen people, the Jews, and God sent Moses to demand to let my people go. They wouldn't do it until all the plagues started coming, and then finally the Pharaoh's heart turned, Egypt turned, but it was too late. The plague stopped, the damage was done, firstborns were killed. It was an awful, awful time for the Egyptian people. Let's go into the history of Australia and the Jewish nation of Israel and the Jews that lived there, and then we'll see if you believe this has any kind of a tie in with what's happening, because God's definitely doing all this for a reason. Australia has been described as the midwife at the birth of the state of Israel in 1948. In the early 40s, a group of Australian Jewish businessmen lobbied Australia's then Forest Minister Doc Evatt. Their quest was to champion the Zionist cause, the creation of an independent Jewish nation state. In the 40s, Australia also accepted a huge influx of post-war European Jews who migrated there. Most of the new arrivals were refugees escaping the ravages of the Holocaust. And Australia used to be a very blessed nation. It's like America. Our president in America was the one who brought the whole thing about in 48 with Israel becoming a nation. But now in America, the persecution of Jews is off the charts. And anti-Semitism runs rampant. And look at how America is falling apart at the seams. All the crime, all the terrible disasters happening, all the plague and pestilence and disease and storms and the evil wickedness in our government. I believe this is all tied into the way we treat the Jews here in America as well. Then after those two great things that happened with Australia and the Jews, then came the bad. In 1973, Go Whitlam's government famously cooled relations with Israel during the Yom Kippur War, a time when Israel needed friends the most. Australian Jewish leaders were furious. In 2010, the Greens Party dominated Merrickville County Council passed a motion of support for a boycott of Israel goods and services. Big time no-no. In 2014, former Foreign Minister Bob Carr made public his concern about the influence of pro-Israel lobbyists on Australian policy towards Israel and the occupied territories. In particular, he revealed a growing unease with Israel. Carr announced his decision to become a patron of the Labor Friends of Palestine. And I've said before, in 2018 and 2019, anti-Semitism grew off the charts to record numbers in leaps and bounds across Australia, in 2020 starting the same way. I've always been treated with love by Australians. I've been just enamored by the beauty of the place and the people, but I'm not a Jew. So I don't know how I would have been treated if I was a Jew. But I know that, as in Egypt, God didn't stop the plagues. He didn't stop things from going on until the Jews were let go, released, taken care of, where they could be loved and nurtured. And Australia, their government needs to crack down on the Australians that are persecuting Jews. They need to keep their government out of the Jews' business, trying to boycott them with this garbage, BDS, and everything else. And fly right, my friends, and do the right thing, because it would be, I just weep for Australia. I weep for her people in her country and all the terrible things happening to that beautiful natural paradise. God has his reasons. I'm telling you what I think they are. And that's why I believe, again, America is in ruins. And every country in the world, as I've said before, that's anti-Israel, their countries are falling apart at the seams. It's a bad, bad, bad time we live in, my friends. The rapture is upon us. Soon we're going to get out of this place. I can't wait to leave this wicked world. We're going to be going to heaven. Those who are ready to go, the few who are saved by Jesus Christ's precious blood, pick up our cross daily, put it on our shoulder, and follow Christ. If you've never been saved, you're backslidden, pray the prayer, do the 6 steps I have in the box below the video. No one's guaranteed more time in your life. If you'd like prayer, contact me. I pray for you every day. Love you all so much. Share all my videos and sermons, my friends, and look up, true Christians. Our redemption draweth nigh. We fly soon. May God bless you. I love you. After digging in deeper in this, I had to put out this 3rd video to really hammer home what I believe is going on in my beloved Australia. I love you all so much. May God bless you. Share. Bye.